Okay, hello everyone, and welcome back to Factorio. Let's click resume, and then currently we are physically on Fulgora, but we're mostly working with stuff on Novice. So where we last left off, I believe we were in the process of making us some quality modules and then upgrading them. So, is there anything we can do to increase the speed of quality modules? Quality module ones are doing their thing, but we seem to have red circuit shortages. And then obviously we go all the way through, and all these guys also have the ingredient shortages. And that's probably going to trickle all the way back to here. So, yeah, I mean, it's going. Could be worse, but it's not incredibly fast. So, let's see. If we upgrade red circuits, then we'll be better off. And we aren't using that many of them to make blue circuits, which is good. Now, how is our red circuit supply doing? It's actually doing pretty well, honestly, but we could use a touch more plastic. Alright, so let's figure out how to get that plastic going. It's pretty close to a full belt as is, so we might need to upgrade it. Yeah, actually, is this belt being speed limited somewhere? No, it's just occasionally being yoinked by those machines. Otherwise, it's traveling at full speed. Yeah, so these guys are output full, but we're still not getting enough plastic through. So yeah, we definitely need to add stack inserters on, and that should just about completely fix it. So you go stack inserter. And, oh dear, these ones can't do stack inserters because this coal belt is in the way. So we're going to have to switch the coal belt and the plastic belt in order to get that to work. That's going to be annoying. Okay, Okay, so the coal has to get here where it splits into a couple of things. The plastic just has to go along. So we remove the plastic belt. And we're going to have to remove that bulk inserter as well. So the plastic belt is gone. Now the coal belt is gone. And all that stuff goes away. Okay, so now the coal has to come down here. And we're going to need to swip these inserters around. So that goes like that, basically. Except we're going to need to take that remaining plastic off first. Alright, so coal reattached. Now we need to get the plastic out, which actually means I think we need to reorganize this coal a little bit more to have space. Maybe. Oh, we have to get the plastic belt up to here at this point. So the plastic belt on the output side, it just does that, which is relatively simple. And then we can get our stack inserters in like that. Then what we need is to get this over into that area. Okay, wait, I have a better idea. That inserter definitely doesn't need to be there, which means this coal can go up a layer, connect into the splitter there, and then this comes across. Alright, mission accomplished. Now these need to have the plastic cleared so that they can start putting coal in. So now those are running, and they're providing stacks of plastic. Now we just have to go back here and make these ones stack inserters as well. And these ones are fortunately set up conveniently to begin with. So we just do that. And that should be plastic supply improved. Alright, so all that stuff goes in. And now we don't have to worry about completely saturated belts. Now we can store much more. And it'll just take a little bit for the rest of that to cycle through. And here we go. Alright, so now our plastic production is in full swing, basically. And it'll be just a bit longer before the improvement trickles it all the rest of the way up. And that is that. Alright, so the plastic improved. We should see minor improvements to the red circuit production. However, I don't know that this level of red circuit production is even necessarily just like gonna be reasonable. So we could push the red circuit production up to space. So we have this, right? And this makes blue circuits, which most of this process just makes red circuits. So if we just copy paste this whole thing, then we could get a kind of bad red circuit producer in space. I don't know, I'm kind of not sure that that's the right way of going about things, really. I feel like the solution is we should probably get it worked out on Novice, or maybe even on Vulcanus or something, although that requires plastic, so that would be hard. But yeah, like some place where we can just do things easily with space not being an issue would be better. Okay, now over here we are still not doing great for our product, for our quality modules. So that is still going. Red circuit supply, still not enough. Alright, let's see if we just make a red circuit factory from scratch. Maybe that is a good idea. So let's have it branch off of the rail network. Alright, so we get a junction here. That's not what we want. That's not what I want either. I don't want to look at Fulgora. So let's get a four-way junction just in here somewhere. And do these need to like overlap, or I'm worried that these signals are going to do something weird, but I think that rail signal needs, I think those rail signals need to not exist. I'm not sure. But let's just get that in, and then we can bring train tracks off of it to make our red circuit factory. Now, our red circuit factory is going to need electronic circuits, copper cables, and plastic. So, electronic circuits are iron plates and copper cables. So yeah, we need iron, copper, and oil here. And if we can just bring all those things in and just make a factory which makes red circuits, that would be pretty nice. Especially if we can make it be scalable. Alright, so we need this to just sort of go up, and this is the train tracks which go up. So let's just take this and actually let's bring it over a little bit so that we're not right next to the walls and such. I could have it like that, I guess. And then we just sort of run it along. And then it's going to loop back down this way and into there. Alright, so that we can then put the stations in. Okay, wait. We need... Actually, is this train unloader thing? No, we don't need all of that. That is extreme overkill, which we certainly don't need for this. But we do need a couple train unloaders side by side. So what if... Was there like a partial blueprint of this that we had? No, that was just the whole giant thing. Yeah, okay. So what we need is this train unloader blueprint, or maybe this one. No, that we don't need that one. We just need this one, just a simple version. So this goes in like that. And we need a station which lines up properly for it all. Like that. Then this is going to be connecting up and then going underground at some point. And we're going to have to upgrade this to faster belts and everything. But just getting the design in should be nice. Then we have our next train input, which is gonna be like here. And it gets that. And then it's gonna connect into that. And it also gets a train unloader blueprint, which is gonna be lined up the same way for now. Might have to nudge it slightly over at some point to make it line up properly. So then that is there. And we just need one more. Something like that. It gets that, and it gets the train unloader blueprint. Then this also connects in to there. Alright. Now we need to get drone coverage out here, because apparently that's not far enough out. So let's just pop a drone port there for now. That is connected up, right? No, it is not. Okay. So we can connect the drone coverage out to here, I guess. And then go from there. Alright, so this is all in. And now we need to get our belts lined up. Oh, we also need calcite, actually, but we hardly need any calcite, so we can just bring that in. We can just bring the calcite in via... what's it called? A requester chest, I guess. So we need so little of it that it should be fine. Alright, so then we have all of this stuff get aligned as well. So now that's all set up, and we need signals. So let's get some signals into there, and a couple of random signals around this area as well. And hopefully that will be good enough for the signaling. And now we watch as all this stuff gets built, and we apparently never crafted iron chests. Oh right, we used steel chests this time around, I think. So let's just upgrade all of those to steel chests then, because they're better and we have access to them, so we might as well. There we go. So this is all going in. And the goal here is to just have a way of getting all the red circuits we ever need without having to worry about other nonsense. Have it just simply work. Alright, so now we just chain the power lines together and then bring them back to the main grid. Oh, we could have brought them just like an inch down this way. That would have been easier. Okay, so then this is iron destination. This one is copper destination. This one is crude oil destination. So that should be that. These are all set up with train limit of 1. Yes, alright, cool. So now that curved rail up there is just barely out of range of everything. So we're gonna just pop a drone port up there and get that fixed. Okay, now we need to upgrade planner all of this stuff so that it's actually fast. Because red belts are not what we want here. Alright, so that is upgrade plannered, and now that rail should get placed and the trains should figure their way over here. Alright, so we're getting super fast belts. We also want these to be stack inserters. This is going to be a lot of stack inserters to get this working. Hopefully we only need this outer row, although I guess the question is whether the inserter capacity is going to be the limiting factor or the belt capacity. And if the belt capacity is the limiting factor, just having these ones be stack inserters should do the trick. Alright. So this is all going. It's doing its thing, and now we have trains sitting here. What are you doing? Oh, I see. You have a whole circuit thing set up. Right, okay, so that's actually a bit of a problem. Okay, and actually, hang on. Do I even want this to work this way? I think I might not. I think I might want this to... Okay, we can make this just like a resource processing thing. Oh, and this is an oil train. It doesn't need all this stuff. Right, so the oil train just gets pumps. So I think here we're just going to process the iron, the copper, and the oil down into the resources. So that'd be just iron plates, copper plates, and I guess we'll do plastic. I don't know. I feel like... No, I feel like let's just do the whole thing in one. That'll be easier. So you need a signal, which... I don't know what we're doing here. So this gives signals. All right, let's just change this to be back to normal. All right, wait, iron destination is circuit of 1. Can I actually just do this? What is this? Iron ore is less than 0, and that. Is this the only thing that this is connected to? Yes, so if I just get you over here, and I connect you up like that, then we set you to send a train, read train contents, read train count. Read train contents, read train count. And you get powered up. Alright, so that is that. And then just need to paste those settings in. And then once that power pole gets placed, then we should be good to go. So then this train should leave. Alright. Iron ore is less than 0. And... okay. But this doesn't even work. Wait, how did you just leave? How did you just leave? The circuit doesn't work that way. Oh wait, no, you are connected to that other circuit, which also does check marks. Alright, so if we just make this less than or equal to 0, then you should work. Okay, now why... is it because all the iron sources are taken? That could be. No, there isn't a train out here. Oh, but there is a train heading there. Alright, so it might just be that all the iron sources are taken. And that might be an issue, but hopefully it'll be fine. So in the meantime, we need to get pumps out here. Like that. And that. Alright, so now we get this stuff going underground there. And underground to there. Now all these pumps get power. And let's put in some storage tanks as well. So just a couple of storage tanks like that should have that handled. And then the pumps should get them going. Alright. Now the storage tanks go in and they take some of the crude oil. Alright, so that is that. Now we just need to request a chest in the calcite, which we need very little of. Let's just use a bulk inserter for it. I don't know how I've managed to place that just outside of range of anything useful. And also, I need to get refueling on these. Where's my refueling blueprint? There it is. Alright, so you each get a train refueler. And that is all you should need. So then this is going to set to request calcite. Calcite, calcite, calcite. Where are you? There you are. And just 100 of it should be more than enough. Alright. So now we just need to make production lines for everything. So step 1 are the foundries. So we're going to need a row of foundries to make... we're going to need a row of foundries for the melting. So that's going to be step 1. So the iron goes up here and into the foundry. And then, let's see here, the calcite also has to go in. So this belt can just come out to here, split like that, and then go up that way. So that is set up, and it needs to be powered. So we'll just do something like that in order to get it lined up. Alright, now let's see. How many of these do you think we're going to need? Possibly a couple. Although, I don't know. Let's start at 1 with modules for now. So you get modules and you get beacons with speed. So this will do for now. I think that beacon might need a power pole. And then we'll figure out how many more of these we need to place in when we figure out how much we're using. So then that then outputs the molten iron to a pipe. And then we need to melt, then we need to cast iron plates. Right, so we're trying to make electronic circuits which require iron plates and copper cables, advanced circuits which require copper cables and electronic circuits, and we're not trying to make processing units this time, just these first 2, preferably in very large quantities. So we need iron plates. So this is going to smelt up as many iron plates as it can, which we can just have that be right across from here and set up like that, and productivity moduled and speed beaconed. So that's actually technically optimal to move these beacons in here so that they can hit all the different rows. So if we have you all set up like that, you are going to produce a whole bunch of iron plates. And we just have to get all of this stuff built in as well. I think this power pole, no, we're going to need another power pole up here for this. So let's just place that in. And then we're going to need to connect the 2 rows across. So we get that in. And how many is this going to give us? This is going to give us more than 9 once the power poles get placed in, which has taken them a while for some reason. Didn't realize they were that far away. Alright, so this makes 403 molten iron. This smelts that down to 16.1. So let's place another couple of these and just do something like that, which should be plenty of iron plates, and we can scale it up as needed. Alright, so that is all in. And then we need the power lines to go in as well, which we can do something like that. Alright, so now that is all in, we can bring that belt down and get stack inserters to actually output the iron plates. Alright, so that... Oh, and you need to be rotated correctly. There we go. And then all the output gets placed in. And this is 45 per second, which theoretically these would be able to completely fill, if not for the stack inserters, making it probably fine. This stack inserter here needs its own dedicated power pole, unfortunately. Alright, so this is a whole lot. I don't like the fact that this top one is a different ratio, so let's just finish that off. Alright, so those are in. And their power poles are in. So now they should all be at the same ratio. So that should be all of the iron plates we need. And then if we just copy paste this whole giant thing and just pop it over a little bit to there, then we just need to change the recipes in these to copper ore melting and copper cable casting. Then we should be almost good to go there, although we're probably going to need even faster belts to keep up with how many copper cables this is. Alright, so that all gets built up. And now we just need to bring the resources in. So the calcite goes along this way and up to there. And the copper ore goes along this way and up to there. So this is going to give us 400 molten copper, and this is not going to take nearly that much, and it's going to output literally hundreds of molten copper. Alright, well, I guess we will have to try to max out how much copper we can output in order to keep up with all that. And we're still not going to come anywhere near close enough, but that is a whole lot of copper cables, which is pretty cool, I would say. I do like having massive quantities of supplies. Alright, so next up, the green circuits. We can make these in electromagnetic plants. And let's just get some of those in. And let's see. So your green circuits... Oh, you can also make copper cables, but that seems probably less efficient than doing it this way. So you have that recipe, and there's really nothing fancy here. So what we need to do is get massive quantities of copper cables. Wait, actually I just had an idea, which is going to require that to move slightly. But if we put this line of machines along this way, and then we're going to have to do that. Actually, hang on. There's got to be some way of getting the beacons in that's more space efficient. I don't know. This is probably fine. I guess space efficiency isn't really a concern here. So let's just crunch these down a little bit, since there's only beacons every other spot instead of electromagnetic plants. And then we are going to throw in our modules like that. And these are going to be set to make electromagnetic circuits or whatever. Alright, so they are in. Then they get... Well, they're going to get the speed modules to make them nice and fast. And then they are going to take 21 copper cables a second each. Yeah, at this point, having multiple machines is good just for the inputs and outputs being manageable. Alright, so we have the cables, then we're going to have that belt, which we're now out of drone range for, so let's get a drone port up here, let's say. That should be a good enough spot for it. Alright, so then that goes in, and we're going to be bulk inserting the iron plates onto that belt. And then that goes around and into there. So now we just need to get this stuff out, which I have a plan for. If we just do this, then we can get the stuff out onto this, and then these can all merge up, I guess, like that. And let's see here. Do we need another one of these just so that we can get the splitting even? Yeah, I think we do. So let's just go up to there, get all the modules in, and then by doing it this way we can have 2 machines on each side of the belt, which might be important. Alright, so then this goes around that way, and then that goes in that way. And wait, no, because now this is too tall, so I guess these belts, we're going to have to twist them around a bit. So if we just go up like this, then that gets the copper cables in. This isn't ideal. We're going to possibly need to fix this at some point, but for now it should be fine. So then that belt goes along that way for the iron plates. And then we get, let's see, these are all at the lowest possible point to get the iron plates in. So you have to be down there. So then we immediately go underground, and then this comes out. And we do that. And then that connects into that, and that should be everything. So now we just need to get the inserters going. And we're going to have like 2 stack inserters each, because apparently that is what's necessary. And then we're going to need power poles everywhere as well. So these all get power poles. And once those power poles and the stack inserters are in, then we should be seeing our green circuits show up. And wait, we need the green circuits to also be stack inserter outputs, I think. Because, again, that might be an issue. And you need more speed modules, probably. Alright, so that is all in. And now we have green circuits. So that's pretty cool. Then we just need to get the plastic bars in. Okay, so step 1, I guess, actually, is we want to just have the drone network to have a steady supply of green circuits just directly in from there. And also I need to probably upgrade all of that. Alright, so that should provide plenty of green circuits to the drone network, which should be just fine. Then, actually, I should check to see if this is working. It is, very slowly. We have 6 of these, 2 of those. Alright, so that is still going. Now this is actually temporarily has enough. So yeah, okay, that is actually looking fine-ish. We're still going to need this at some point soon. Alright, so green circuit supply is now basically secured. These guys are all going to be working around the clock as long as they can get their copper wire. And the copper wire is working as long as it can get stuff out onto the belts. And that is all good. And this is very rapidly filling up our green circuit supply, which is neat. And all of this for really, in the grand scheme of things, a pretty small amount of iron and copper ore. So, that is going. Now we need our plastic. And unfortunately, there isn't really much of a good way of getting lots of plastic. So, we're just going to add oil refinery back here. You are going to do advanced oil processing. Oh, we need water. Do we have a water pipe around here? Please say we have a water pipe. Okay, there is just like a lake over there that I can grab. That's not too far away. Oh, this lake is actually even closer. Alright, that works. So we are going to, step 1, have to get drone coverage out there. So we can place that in and bring power poles up to it. And that'll be a bit of a work in process. So, in the meantime, let's get this oil refining set up. So we get half oil refiners, half beacons, and we can fit multiple beacons per refiner in here. Alright. So let's just sort of... Okay, let's get the modules in and then copy paste this a bunch of times probably. So modules are in. Pipes are almost in. So the water pipe goes like that. The crude oil pipe just sort of goes underneath like that. Then the settings. And then we just want this to be perfectly lined up for tiling. Then we get our output pipes. 1, 2, 3 of them. And heavy oil, light oil, and petroleum gas. Alright, so that should then just... Oh wait, no, there's one more thing which we should put in for convenience sake, and that is the power poles. So if we just do this, although I don't even know if that one's necessary, but it might just barely be. Alright, so now these can get built up. Connect that to power. And time to copy paste a bunch. so that should be enough copy pasting. If this isn't enough plastic, then I don't know what is. Also, our supply of green circuits over here is definitely working out. So that's all cool. These seem to be working mostly stable. So that's cool. And then that just goes up. Alright, now we need to get the pipes connected in, and we need to continue working up to here. So we get the drone port, and we get the power. So now that that is in, we can get a... Alright, it's not a pump, it is an offshore pump, which just goes there. And apparently that's just barely out of range of the existing drone port, so let's get another one up to there. And get it all powered up, and then that should eventually figure itself out. Actually, no, that's not necessary. That's barely out of range of this drone port all the way down here. Right. Alright, so we're fine. Now, this pipe just sort of comes down. And... okay, I somehow managed to just line that up perfectly. So now we just need to make it go underneath that. And then this all gets built out. And we need to... okay, apparently we just don't have auto crafting for offshore pumps. Let's change that. So we just yoink one of you guys and paste you in by a power pole. Change this recipe to offshore pumps. There you are. Alright. So that should get us our offshore pumps, and it should be relatively straightforward from there. Alright, so this is all connected up, and it's just a matter of time until it gets up there and the pump gets crafted. Pump is getting requested. We've got the pipes in. Don't see any gear wheels, but we have thousands of gear wheels in logistic storage, so they should be showing up any second now. I don't know what's taken them so long, actually. It's been a bit of a weirdly long delay. Okay, no, there we go. Now we have offshore pumps, and that can get sorted out. So, then the next thing we need to do is get the pipes down. And this pipe goes out here and lines up into the oil. Okay, so that is all that we need for that. Then we just need to get the plastic, which... wait, the plastic also requires coal. I forgot that. Rats. Okay, our coal supply is actually on a train, so we can do something about that. We just need to get like another train stop in this whole setup, which I guess we just have it go over, or maybe we have it go around this side. No, we can do something very cursed here. So you come back like this, and you get a train stop right in, like that would be fine. And okay, so this has officially done its thing and produced all of those, so that's cool. Now we just need the train stop to get built and the tracks to show up as well. There they are. So we need a train unloader, which would line up to there. And you also get a refueler, of course. And then this gets to be upgraded twice. And then all of these inserters get to be upgraded as well. So that goes across, and that should be good to go. So now we have this, which you can be set as coal destination, and give you a train limit of 1. There's one train with the coal destination thing, and it's over here. But hopefully it's just as simple as adding a second one on for that. Okay, so this gets attached across, and now we just need to go from here down to here. And yeah, it's going to require going over some stuff, but through the power of vertical rails, it should work. Although, let's see here. I guess I kind of wanted to just go over that stuff, but yeah, I guess doing it like this is going to be the most practical option. Now, okay, actually, let's change that slightly. We want the ramp to be all the way down here out of the way as much as possible. Yeah, I know there's a ramp rail ghost in the way. I'm trying to connect up to it. Thank you. Alright, there we go. So that is that. And now we have tracks just going over this whole thing. So that's fun. Okay, let's put the train in, because I think this one is going to need an additional train. So that gets placed. This area up here is getting attacked. So yeah, we are going to need to worry about biters not being happy with us for doing all this. But I just want to get all this stuff built in, ideally, before we start building our defenses around it. Alright, so this train, everything except the most important part has been placed. Which figures. Alright, there it comes. Alright, so you then get assigned to the coal group and set to automatic mode. So off you go. And that is that. Alright, so next we need to get all of these different types of oil brought down to just plastic, right? Because plastic is coal and petroleum gas, so we just need the petroleum gas. We don't need all this other stuff. So let's just give those tracks a little bit of space and get some of these guys in. And get the beacons all set up, and the productivity modules as well. So you are going to be doing, where is it? Heavy oil cracking first. And of course you get 2 pipes, a water pipe and a heavy oil pipe, which just connect across. Like that, and like this. Alright, so we have all that. And now they get power poles. And then the power poles connect back to here. Okay, so now heavy oil comes over this way. Is going to have to go underneath all of that and then go into there. And then the water is also going to come down this way and come across to here, where it goes underneath that. And then, okay, it actually needs to go a little bit further down just to leave space for some moving about, because you need to go like that ultimately. So something like that and that. Okay, actually, I just had a thought. I have a thing for this. I have a Spidertron on Novice. You just get up here. And you should have all of, like, the default building stuff. So you hopefully will be able to get us built faster. Once you're in the general area. You have pipes and stuff, right? Yeah. So that should help with the building more quickly. Alright, now that pipe is in, and these guys all get their outputs. Alright, so now we just pipe you across. And like that. Then we just need to get the light oil to all connect up to each other. So you go like that, and then across the tracks, and connect up to that. So now the light oil is all connected up. Next step is the light oil cracking. So I think if we literally just copy paste that, pop it over one, and set you to light oil cracking, then paste those settings across. Alright, so we didn't quite get it fully pasted properly, but we're close enough. So we just do that. Then the light oil pipe goes into there, and the water pipe can... Okay, actually, the light oil pipe will be more convenient doing that. And now we're out of modules. Okay. That is annoying, since we have a fair amount left to build. Okay. So, why are we out of modules? Is this still going? Yeah, this is still producing. I don't know why we have 196 of them, and yet you say that we don't have any. That is somewhat mysterious to me. Is it because the Spidertron itself doesn't have them? I don't know. So if the Spidertron moves back to here, where it is within drone range, then it still says not in logistics network. Do you have to move like an inch over? Alright, so yeah, now the Spidertron is in the logistics network, which we just need to bring the drone coverage further up this way, I think. So we just do that, then all this should get placed in. Because yeah, the problem is that it's not within range. Alright, so the Spidertron can still stay up at the front line. So now we have our petroleum gas. We just need to connect the petroleum gas up with everything else. So that comes down here, crosses the tracks, and through that random rock. And then we just connect it into the rest of the petroleum. Alright, so all of these pipes get popped in. And then we have our petroleum gas. And theoretically we have our coal. What's going on with the coal? Okay, we have a bit of a traffic jam up here. So you have a block signal when you need to be a chain signal. And we need to get moving forward. So if I just put a block signal there, that should let you get out of the intersection, and then it'll be fixed in the future. Alright, so that block signal should allow you to go up this way. That chain signal should prevent you from entering the intersection like this again. And then it should be resolved. Is that... Okay, so that is good. You are out. And now the trains are running again. So hopefully now that the traffic jam is sorted out, we should be good to get coal here, because we're going to need it. So our next step is more chemical plants, I believe. Yes. So you make plastic bars. And... okay, I don't know if you need to be there. So we need a solid input of coal, which is going to be a random belt going up like this. And we need all of these guys. So let's just get the bare minimum and then copy paste it a bunch. So you go in like that. You get your modules and your speed modules. Then the whole thing gets powered up and connected to power. There we go. So this then gets set to make plastic bars. And then this whole thing can be copy pasted a couple of times. And I forgot to do the pipes. That's fine though. It's relatively simple. We just have to get these across up this way. And then they connect across like that. And then just into the petroleum gas supply. Alright, now we get our plastic output onto stack inserters. So these just go across. And then this belt goes all the way up there. This belt comes all the way down here. And we have plastic. Okay, wait. No, we need to get the coal in. So, coal just goes along this way and in. Nice and simple. Alright, so that is that. Is the coal getting any trains? No, these guys seem to have gotten stuck again. Oh, I see what happened. You need a train limit of 1. So because of that, we're going to have you move on so that we can get you up into there, and then everything gets sorted out. Okay, I don't know what that chain signal is there for. There's some weird stuff going on with the signaling in this area in particular. But hopefully it works out. So this is headed down all the way over here for the coal supply, which we've got tons of, apparently. And the limiting factor here is just how quick the trains can be loaded. So hopefully that goes pretty quick, and you can bring coal up to my new project. So these outputs need power lines like that. Alright, so now this is plastic. This is green circuits. This is copper wire. So now we just need a row of EM plants, which, let's see, we're going to have the plastic input, which is just going to loop back like that. Actually, what is the rates on all these guys? So you are making advanced circuits, and it's mostly the copper wire, and the other two are relatively manageable. Okay, let's just go with that. Okay, so the coal is showing up. So now we get our plastic. Very nice. Alright, so let's take that out and put in that row. Then we put in the EM plant. And then we get another 2 rows there, one of which is the output. So the amount of red circuit output that we get here is 0.5 per second, so it's lower than all of the inputs. Although that might change with productivity modules. So yeah, if we just do something like this and get the settings pasted across and all of the modules go in, and then it gets power, which should be able to just go there and there, hopefully. Hopefully just those 2 power poles can cover the whole thing. And we're going to need another one of you up there to see what the speed is actually going to be like. Alright, so that is all in. So this lower one, well, we don't have any speed modules in, so it's going to be dramatically underestimating the speed. There we go. Speed modules show up. And it's actually just 1-to-1 for plastic and green circuits, and 2-to-1 for the copper cables. Okay, well, let's see here. Do we just need to set up... No, we can probably manage these numbers with long-handled inserters. But we might like do 2 long-handled inserters each. Alright, so let's see, you get a bulk inserter and 2 long-handled inserters. Let's say we do that. Then that gets copied up to there. And then it gets pasted out to here, but the bulk inserter is flipped, and that just goes up again. Alright, now we just need to get this whole thing set up properly, so that we can just copy-paste this a couple of times. Wait, no, that has to be facing that way. And those, I think, need to go one additional step. And then these are just barely out of power range. So, can we just move the power poles to be like there and there? And then these can be there and there. Does that work? Yeah, that covers everything. So now, we copy-paste this up. And hopefully that should be enough. Alright, so one of the interior inputs needs to be copper wire. So that plastic can go there. Then the green circuits can come down this way. and across to there. And then the copper wire, where's the copper wire? Alright, so the copper wire needs to come down this way and go across this way and then wind up in there. Alright, so we have plastic in, we have green circuits making their way across. We should have copper wire pretty soon. And then that should be a healthy supply of red circuits, in theory. If everything works, which I will be a little bit surprised if it does. Alright, so all the belts are getting placed now. And it is taking it a bit of time. They're not really coming in one giant organized wave like they have in the past. And I don't like the way that this lines up, really. So we might need to do something to fix that. Alright, so here comes the copper wires. They are getting this all set up. Now we have red circuits. And this is so far a relatively modest setup for the red circuits. We have tons of plastic. We have an insane amount of wire and green circuits. Alright, so yeah, we should be able to make this go pretty crazy. For now, let's just get the output set up and get a drone port over there as well. And you also need a power pole. So for now, we just have one of these. And then in the future, we might need more. But first, let's check over here. What is going on here? These currently have enough red circuits, and it looks like blue circuits might be the limiting factor, although that's a blue circuit throughput problem, potentially. So if we set that up, the blue circuits here, we're burning through them real fast. Okay. So, we have our red circuit supply. We have our green circuit supply. Let's actually swap this around a little bit. So we're going to do this like we did with the green circuit supply, where we just have 3 of them side by side. And that should be pretty solid. So, now, the next thing we need to do is we need to expand this up a lot. So we need this to be an even huger row, just to get all the red circuits we could ever want. Since we have basically infinite inputs to this, in theory, we just expand that up a whole bunch, and it should be fine. And yeah, we can't quite get beacons close enough over here to get like an entire row of beacons out here affecting things, which is a bit of a shame. Alright, so all of this is slowly getting built. It's just going to take it a bit, because we are sort of out, like, past the edge of the drone, of the range where we have, like, consistent drone port coverage. Let's just get another random drone port in here. Just to help it out a little bit. So all that goes in. And red circuit supply is now good to go. So for blue circuits, which is going to be the last step here, we just need stuff we already have and sulfuric acid, which sulfuric acid is where is that? How am I so blind? So you make sulfur from water and petroleum gas, which we can certainly do. And I'm just completely incapable of spotting sulfuric acid. I know it's somewhere on this page. There's fill sulfuric acid barrels. Oh, is it because I'm in like ghost cursor mode or something? On like an EM plant or something? Yeah, I bet that's it. We just need this. So sulfuric acid is iron plates, sulfur, and water. Alright, so step 1 is going to be getting the sulfur. So we need water and petroleum gas. Fortunately, we've got both of those here. So let's get pipe row, chemical plant row. So you make sulfuric acid, and you get that input and that input. Then we get a beacon and another one of those, and then we just get this whole thing set up. There we go. And then you just output to another row. And you get power pulled. Like that. And then the power poles just connect across. And the pipes come up to the second one. That's important. Don't want to have every other one dysfunctional because we didn't connect it up. So we just do that. And I think actually the amount that we need of this is incredibly small. So let's just go with that for now until we determine that we do actually need more. So this pipe comes out to here. And all the way out to there, and then in. Then the water pipe will come down this way, and then out to here, and then we go underground a bunch. And then into there. Alright, so that is going to make sulfur. Next, we need sulfuric acid. So, we need the sulfur, iron plates, and there's some other thing, right? What else did you need? Water. Alright. So we have the sulfur, we have the iron plates. Then we have this, which we're gonna... No, actually, we need more space for this setup to work. So we need the water pipe, then a gap row, then the iron plates and the sulfur, and then the machine. Alright, so this just goes in like that, then all of this stuff gets placed. And the pipes go across, and the inputs go in there and there. Then we get our modules set up, because might as well be resource efficient, even though it doesn't matter all that much in this exact situation. So now the water pipe goes across to that, and it all gets powered up. And then we just have them merge up to make the sulfuric acid. Alright, so that is sulfuric acid production. Once we get this load-bearing power pole in. And also we have to get all this stuff over. So you need to, like, loop around that way. And then go up to there. Then we need the iron plates. Where do we leave the iron plates? Iron plates are back here, and there's something wrong. No iron ore. Why? Oh, I know what happened. I know exactly what happened. We need a rail signal a couple... We need a couple rail signals out this way. Just like that. And then we need one there as well. Although that one might need to be a chain signal. Can't remember. Should be fine. Should be fine either way, though. So that will get the iron ore back in and running again. And then the iron plates are just this belt here. So we just need to split those off and bring them over this way and up into that. Alright, so that is pretty good. So we're making our sulfuric acid, and iron has been reconnected. So that is good. We had a temporary disruption, but it's back now. So you are just immediately short of iron again. Oh, this takes 21 iron ore per second individually. But still, though, I feel like that train couldn't have been full, right? There's just no way that a full train lasted that briefly. It must have been nearly empty or something. Weird. Who knows? So now we have the iron shortages to deal with. So this is another train here. Are you coming down this way? No, you are off to do something unrelated, it seems. Where are you going? Where are you headed? You're headed back to the iron source. Oh, is this circuit thing not configured correctly? Alright, so it very well could be. Very well could be that this is configured wrong. So let's see if we can add an extra condition on here to make it stay. I don't know what that would be, but I'm pretty sure we had to deal with this at some point, right? Let's see. Over here was the other iron thing. Yeah, so this... Okay. So and I don't understand what that is, but let's just copy-paste it. Bring it over to here. Oh, I think it's like a 1-frame delay or something, basically. So we get that. Then... Okay, those were connected. And that connects back. And that gets removed, I think. You need to read train ID, potentially. Alright. Now, we just have to hope that this works better. So we have a train on the way to a different iron destination, but not this one. So hopefully that works out. Because, yeah, I'd forgotten that there was that problem with the trains, that we need to have a pretty specific setup for it to work. Alright, anyway, so we have our sulfuric acid, kind of. We have our red circuits, although currently they're just filling up requester chests, which is fine. How's our module supply going? We have 5 of these. Well, that's pretty neat. Alright, let's get those upgrades going across. So you get upgraded. You get upgraded. And then we can also get you upgraded to those. And hopefully all of you upgraded to tier 3s. Okay, we can't quite, but it's close at least. Alright, so that is all going through. And we're getting the best stuff we can into all of these. That's mostly empty, which is nice. Alright. So yeah, that's the quality looping is still going slowly but surely. Iron still hasn't showed back up here. So let's see. I mean, you are the one which is probably going to be coming this way, right? Because you're almost completely empty. No, you're going to there. Alright. Is there someone coming out here? Currently, no. We have a lot of trains waiting at iron sources, which are very, very slow and bad. Alright, so this iron source is slow and bad and mostly dead at this point. So that's not very helpful. This iron source here is literally dead. Okay. In that case, we just need that iron source to not exist anymore. Because this does nothing for me. This one, on the other hand, has buckets of iron. And apparently needs to some of those mining drills get connected up properly. Let's get that in. So this iron source has buckets of iron. We just need more trains to go there, basically. This one is like fine, I guess. I mean, it just sent a train out successfully, so, you know, if it works, it works. Alright, so then that is heading to a different iron destination. So all of the iron destinations except for this one are occupied. Yeah, let's just cut that out as well. Let's see how much we can rely on this one iron source for the time being. Hopefully it'll be able to keep up with everything, and if not, I mean, we also technically have this one up here, providing some supplemental assistance. And then we can just always add in another one if we need to. Alright, so how is that going? So you are now waiting here, and you're getting filled up at a reasonable rate now. And our quality modules are slowly getting there. We're still a couple rare modules short. Alright, so now you are headed up to here. Very nice. And hopefully you will successfully make it all the way and not get confused and immediately leave. Let's see how long does that take. It's pretty fast. Yeah, okay, it's basically here. That is some fast transportation right there. And now we're up here and in. And you have managed to successfully start unloading. Alright. So iron source success. So that is going to get the iron running, which should get the green circuits running, which should get everything else going. Alright, so the iron plates are going along this way. And these guys are not output limited or anything, right? They're just going as fast as they want. And this top thing needs a power pole, so let's pop one in there. Alright, so green circuits are taking a whole lot of iron, obviously. As is this, but this is also backing up massively. So that should eventually direct more iron plates up to the green circuits and get them running. But yeah, already we've got most of this giant row of red circuit production running. So that's cool. So we have red circuits, we have green circuits, we have sulfuric acid. Let's see here. If we just get some of these guys in. Then we have a belt. No, we need some space for the pipe. So we have a belt. We have a belt. We have the EM plants. And these are going to be making processing units. Like that. And then these just go across like so. Wait, no, we want beacons in, obviously, as we always do. So we just do something like that. Get our modules in. Productivity modules and speed modules. Then this gets that setting pasted across, and that goes across to there. And then we just have our output belt like that. Input belt, input inserter 1, input inserter 2. Get those in. And these might actually need to be bulk inserters because it's 4 green circuits per second each. And then these certainly only need to be those. Alright, then we get our power poles in. Let's just sort of spam those around. And that should be everything. Alright, so the actual speed of this is 0.1 per second per machine until we get that power pole in to boost it up. So I don't know what's taking the dang power pole so long, and I hit the button which takes me back to Fulgora again. I need to stop hitting that button all the time. Alright, so this all gets powered up, and now it is 0.7 per second each. So if we just copy paste you up a couple of times, then bring the sulfuric acid like that. Alright, so now we just need to get the red and green circuits out. So red circuits go down here, around this way, and up into there. Green circuits get split off of this, down a little bit more, and up there. And then we get our blue circuit production, which can go into there. And once all this stuff gets built, that will be that. And then we'll get to start figuring out how everything is going to work here. So, like, how much is this really in the grand scheme of things? It's hard to say, but like our previous blue circuit production down here was okay. This actually has potential to be very fast, but this we should be able to expand much more easily because we've left space for that. Alright, and we also need to get the drone port along to here. So let's get that in. And the amount of sulfuric acid that we use here is basically 0, so that should be fine. And now we're just sort of waiting for these red circuits to pile up. So the green circuits have filled their way through. The sulfuric acid is obviously doing fine. And so now it's just a question of the red circuits filling up all of this space, and I think just based on the rate of things, we don't need 3 of these boxes. Just 2 should be plenty. I mean, it should be an insanely huge amount, honestly. Alright, but we are now that we've done that, the occasional red circuit does slip through and make us some blue circuits. Alright, so this is good for now, which means it's time to set up defenses so it isn't all destroyed in 5 minutes when the biters figure out about it. So we just bring this wall up, and let's get a good amount of protection just all the way up to there, because why not? And then you go like that to keep that whole thing secured. Then we need another drone port out this way to get this whole thing covered, and that needs to get powered up. And this whole area should be supplied with drones, so that's good. Then we get more laser walls down here to prevent attacks from this angle, which I guess means that this needs to go down like one more. And then we can turn and cover all of this stuff. So all of this goes in. And at this point we're basically back to the existing wall. And hopefully we'll be able to even just use gates here. So if we go military, gates, then okay, it has to be like down here in order for it to be considered flat enough, but that's fine. So we just get you connected back to there. Then we'll just move that laser turret forwards a little bit. And that should be covered from all those angles. Now we just have this angle up here to worry about. And that can just be covered with some of this stuff. And it's going to need an extra drone port. Like that. Should get coverage for that whole area. And then technically there's this tiny... Actually, no. This isn't a threat because that's actually covered from there. So that should be all that we need to keep everything nice and secure. And now we have plenty of red circuits. And once this fills up, we'll have max going through to here to make blue circuits. And so this is also going to fill up. Low power. Uh-oh. Okay. We need to go over to our nuclear plant. And significant chunks of this are not working. Why not? Because of low temperature. Well, you are theoretically connected up. So I guess the problem is that because the connection to the heat here is so indirect. Okay, so what we need to do is we need you to go underground like that so that we can take those pipes out. And then we can get you connected directly up that way, which should be somewhat helpful. But really, I think we probably just need to come up with a more coordinated system for this. So let's just do that. We're going to expand it up as well. Well, when we do. So, step 1. Find somewhere with plenty of free space. Like, let's see here. I guess this area up here is pretty good as far as free space goes. So what I want to do is create the steam as compactly as possible around the reactors and then move it to somewhere else for the turbines. Alright, so let's get our reactors in. Where are they? Are they in production? Yes, here they are. Nuclear reactor. So the old one was 6. We're going to go up to 8. That should be marginally more efficient. Then, let's see. We need input belts and output belts for all of these. So you get an input belt and an output belt. And then we get the input inserters, and then we're going to get the output. So this will get rid of the waste. And then we get that in. Okay, so we have all of this, and these guys should be set up and ready to go. Now we just need to get requester chests. We're going to need power poles for all of these inserters, like that, and then we connect them across and then bring them over to somewhere with power so that that is all set up. And how is power supply doing now? Oh, the EM plants are crazy intense for power. Okay. That makes sense. It looks like during the daytime we're barely able to keep up. Yikes. Okay. Well, I mean, it's fine ultimately. So we get a drone port in here so that the requester chests can do their thing. And then these are going to request uranium fuel cells and uranium fuel cells, and they'll figure that out once the roboport is in. That's connected up, right? Yes, it is. So that should be all of that ready. And now we just need our massive rows of heat exchangers. So, how many of these do we need? You are 40. Oh, no, the neighbor bonus is going to have to show up, and we're going to have to calculate it then. And also, somehow that managed to be in, like, the world's tiniest gap between power. So, let's shift that over, and then get power pole over to there. So this whole thing is now set up. We have the uranium fuel on the way. How many heat exchangers do we actually have stored right now? Because it might not be enough. We might want to start producing these preemptively. If I can find them, that's over here. Heat exchangers, we've got like 200 of them. Steam turbines, we have fewer. Alright, let's start making both of these again and just stockpile much larger quantities of them. And might as well do that for you as well. Alright, so that is all set up. Now these guys are getting booted up with nuclear power. And then we also need these in to deal with the waste once we're done with it. So, outputs. We have 240 plus 640. So we have 480 plus 640. That is 1,120 maybe. So the answer is we basically need a huge number of these. So how are we going to fit these in compactly? They need heat pipes. So they need heat pipes which run along like this. Now, can we do something like this and fit them in double rows, since we're just going to be piping the steam out anyways? Because this would be more space efficient. Alright, let's see. So this, the pipe, we also need to feed this water, which is a whole other thing. So we have water just right over here, which is nice. Now we need to figure out how to get this in conveniently. So if we get the heat pipes connected across the top like that, or across one side, then we can make giant blocks of these, basically. Okay, wait, here's an idea. Take that tree out so I can see what I'm doing. So I'm trying to make this just like as tileable as possible. So if we do that, and no, wait, you need to go across like that, and you need to go across like that. Okay, so wait, if this works properly, then we can paste this up here, and our steam pipes are still, our steam output pipes are still connected across, but now our water pipes aren't. So we do unfortunately need to add a little bit of space in here for you to just do something like that. And then the heat pipes go across like that. Alright, so now if we were to paste this like that, then it would just go all the way across with no problems. And then the only thing we need is for that to go down to there. So now, let's just make a giant block of these, like this. And that is pretty good. And we can just make this like a 3x3 of these chunks of 2 that we have here. So how many is this? It is 4 times 9 is 36. So this would deal with 360 megawatts, which is kind of not exactly the number we want, actually. So if we get these to be like multiples of 160 or something, then that would probably be even better. Okay, so this is all in. It's getting built. How much is this in terms of actual resources? What? So this is 360 megawatts, so it's like a little more than 2 of these. So if we get 2 of these in, that would be 720, which would be more. So these 4 together are 640. This is 360. Alright, let's copy paste another one of you here. And right, we have to overwrite some stuff. And then we're going to also get another block of these on this side. Like that. And yeah, so now we are short on like everything basically. So that'll have to take some time crafting up, which is fine. So now we just need to get the heat pipes out and connected into these, which we can just do like that and like that. Okay, the accumulators actually got fully charged there, which is cool. Don't know why. The electromagnetic plants must have shut off somewhat or something like that. So this is all connected in, and we can actually do even... Although if we connect it up from here, that prevents our ability to scale this whole thing further. So let's leave it at this. This should be enough. Then, how much water is this? 10.3 water per second. And this is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it's 720. So this is 7,200 water on this side and another 7,200 water on this side. And these guys make 12,000 water each, so we're going to need a couple of them, basically. So let's spam those guys in. That's 1,200, 2,400, 3,600, 4,800, 6,000, 7,200. So that's like one side of this. And then we just need to get even more of these guys in. Like something like that will hopefully be enough water. And, right, I think we had run out of pipes. We'd run out of underground pipes. So that's gonna suck a little bit, but not much we can do about it. We just have to connect everything up. Alright, so that is all connected up. And now we just bring the pipes across. And so this bottom row here doesn't get underground pipes, it just gets regular pipes. And can I... Where's my tree remover blueprint? Because these trees just need to go. There we go. Trees removed. And now this goes along like that. And then we just sort of connect up to all of these. And there we are. So that's all connected up, and now we just need to craft up 20 billion pipes and things that require pipes. So the heat pipes are copper plates and steel beams, and the number of copper plates in logistic storage is apparently quite small. So where is that supposed to be happening? That is this. So, alright, where else do we have copper plates that we can... Yeah, we got plenty of copper plates up here. Let's add some of you guys in so that we can get that all filled up nice and quick. And then the pipes. Those are here. That's short on regular pipes. This one is just going as fast as it can, which isn't very fast. Alright, you can get sped up. And then... Alright, that's 7.5. This is 15 per second, so it's technically fast enough. Alright, that's fine, but the actual physical inserter needs to be a bulk inserter in order to keep up. So there we go. And that's getting those guys crafted up. So the amount of pipes that we need is depleting quickly. And let's just set these limits a bit higher so that it isn't a problem again. And you are just limited by the amount of pipes, which we are producing as fast as we can now. Okay, so down here on these guys, we're still not keeping up on the copper plates. Oh, because these are, again, somehow managed to find their way into the world's tiniest gap in the drone network. So we just pop that in. And then once that gets placed, our number of heat pipes should increase. How is power going? It's still completely dead a good portion of the time. Alright, so now these guys are all in providing copper plates down to the logistics network, which should get you going faster. And we can set that to a higher number so that we get more delivered. And are the steel plates look like they're doing fine in terms of that, so that should be okay. So that's going strong. Still a couple underground pipes short of being finished with that. Underground pipes are here, and they are just going. They're just going strong. Okay, wait. I think actually you all need to be upgraded to bulk inserters to get that fully optimized so that we can get enough of this stuff out. 7.5 per second is a lot. Alright, so the amount of underground pipes we have is very rapidly increasing. Then we go up to here, and the heat pipes here are doing their thing. Okay, wait, we didn't get this second row connected up to water. We need to do that. So this has to go through, unfortunately using more underground pipes to do so. And then you connect across like this. And then all these guys get water supplied. Alright, so that should be like 20 trillion steam produced once the heat pipes are in. Currently we're still at a respectable 0 steam produced, and also apparently this didn't connect up properly, so let's just get that one last pipe in. And then these guys should all have access to water. Alright, any second now. It's definitely not a quick process, but it will be fine once we have it. Entities are being damaged. Currently we have no power, so that might actually be a serious issue. No, the lasers seem to be like top priority for power, so that should be okay. The heat pipes... Are the heat pipes still producing successfully? Yes, we still have plenty of both of those. So now this is just power constrained now. That's awkward. Our ability to increase our power supply is being constrained by our power supply. I hate to see it. Alright, so this side of heat pipes has mostly been done. I don't know why you're going like all the way over here to fill in that one in particular. So this side is almost done. It's probably like fully connected at this point. Some of these heat pipes are just like for convenience of giving the heat more ways to travel through, and they aren't strictly necessary. But these ones here are strictly necessary. And let's see, laser demand should still be being met. Alright, so now we have all of this insanely huge amount of steam. We need to connect that up, bring it somewhere that also has room, and then start burning it. Or not burning it, but you know what I mean. Turbining it. So we want this to be... We want the heat exchangers to be expanding up that way. So I guess we want the steam to come down this way. And we can just do that like this. We should have enough underground pipes at this point. Alright, so this all goes to here. And of course there's a random tree there. Why wouldn't there be? Alright, then we get all of them, all the steam pipes connected up. And there we go. So that, if everything got connected properly, that would provide us all the steam that we need. And we're still waiting on like these couple of heat exchangers. Wait, hit the button again. Can I just get the Spidertron into here? The Spidertron might have heat pipes in his personal inventory. Yes, it does. Alright, great. No, you need to get this way. Alright, so these guys are heating up now. So we should now have our supply of steam. And let's see what more of the Spidertron can do with heat pipes over here. It's got actually seemingly plenty. No, it had some. It had some heat pipes, but now it's out. And yes, so that is that. Still 50 heat pipes short, but that should not take quite as long to fix. And now we just need the steam turbines. So the steam turbines, we just need these to be in a massive block. And we have, how many of these did we have? This was 720 times 2. So we just need the steam turbines to go absolutely bananas and just have as many of them as we can. And okay, the power is going to be a thing, because these do need to be connected to the power grid, which is going to be a bit complicated. Let's see here. How do we, so previously we had like little gaps between them. I guess that is fine. I mean, it's technically like marginally space inefficient, but if we just do like that and that and that as like our default, we can get those pipes across. Then if we just copy paste this, then we can get like sort of rows across like that, which work. And then if we just have a whole bunch of these, then we can just connect the rows up. And this can all go in like that. And that's as much space as we have in this area in particular. So let's then just connect all those up. Bring them to power. And that should be good. We're only 2 heat pipes done. Alright, so now all the heat... Yeah, so these guys all now have their temperature, and that should mean that once this whole system gets set up, then we will have some amount of steam turbine power. But we need a much bigger block, because it's like 2 of these ish per one of these, right? Something along those lines. And currently we do not have that. So how many of these do we have? We have 4 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So this is 4 by 14. This is 6 by 12. And technically we're to stack these on top. So this is 12 by 12. So it's 144 of these. So we need this to be much, much bigger. For now, at least, we have the extra power. All right, so that's going. And it's not providing enough, though. We had a weird spike there before we crashed back down again. These guys aren't doing full power output. They don't have full steam supplies. Okay. Right, so probably we still need even more time for this to all get heated up. Like, some of these are working, some of them are still getting heated up. So that is why. So this is a pretty minor boost in power for now. But eventually we'll get there. And yeah, it looks like it just sort of goes along like that. I don't know why these last couple rows aren't getting any at all, considering the pipes definitely should have some steam in them. Okay, if we get this connection up here, it should speed things up a little bit, I think. I think that ought to help. But power demands are crazy right now. We might need even more. We might need even more than 8 reactors. I hope not. Like, max demands are somewhere in the 1 to 2 gigawatt range. And we're still working on that. It is ticking up every so often when another one of these guys gets online. So this reactor system is going. And yeah, hopefully, I mean, this might temporarily slow it down in the short term, but it also should make it warm up faster in the medium term. So now we have temperature going up to these guys. And now you are running. Alright, yeah, so that is looking better. And now we actually have spare power during the daytime when the solar is up. So that is good. And these are probably... Yeah, we still have a bunch more of these to heat up over near the edges. But just preemptively, let's grab you and just paste... Like, we should be able to fit... What just happened? Why did it do that? No, we need to grab this whole giant array and Control Shift and start pasting you in a couple of times. And okay, this isn't technically quite right, but should be fine. We need to disconnect you from that water pipe. Okay, so now we are 41 steam turbines short, but I think the Spidertron has some of those, so we can get those all designated. There we go. Spidertron doing its thing. Getting some building done. So now we're only 20 of these short. And the Spidertron is also out of them. Alright. Cool. So Spidertron has done his best. So now you just need to leave this, and we get the steam pipes connected up. So all of those are connected back to this, and then we just need to connect this steam pipe up with the supply. So this pipe goes up here, over this way, and through to there. Alright, so that is that. And once that pipe gets placed in, then we should have most of this done. And then it'll just be a question of the last couple steam pipes getting through. Now, if we had higher quality, we could make this power a whole lot more efficiently by just, at least space efficiently. I don't think the resource efficiency would change, but it would take a lot less space if we had higher quality steam turbines and everything. Alright, so this is all going in. The number of steam turbines that we are short is decreasing. And now power is a little bit wobbly for some reason. But this last row is almost up to temperature. So you're at 495 point something. These ones over here are, well, they would be running if we had water. Okay, so that's the problem. The random annoying tree has messed with us again. So you are still sitting in just barely short. This one is working though. Alright, so power. We now have a whole lot more power. So that is that problem solved. And we should be good now, right? Like, if this is anywhere near, like, yeah, that should be fine. And what we can technically do is, if we put a whole big row of those in, then we can store up steam so that theoretically we could have some sort of battery-like system in there. I don't know how necessary that is, but it's a thing. Alright, if you walk over here, did you get restocks? No, you did not. Okay, so that's fine. Spidertron's work here is done. You can just sort of go stand somewhere out of the way while the last couple steam turbines get built. So power is back up and running. And that is that. And yeah, we now have plenty of excess steam as well. So this isn't, I think, technically enough. So this is what we pasted, right? It is 4 by 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So it's 4 by 14. And we pasted it 4 times total. So technically what we have is like 16 by 14 if we arranged it in that way. So, wait, no, is that right? Well, it's 4 times 14 times 4. So yes, 16 times 14. Which, okay, now these guys aren't getting input fluid. Oh, this row in particular that I just missed. So let's get you connected up so that row can be running. Now all of these guys have temperature. And we are just good. Alright. New reactor setup complete. And that is that. Alright. So, now let's check back down here. We now have a whole lot of blue circuits. And a whole lot of red circuits. So that is nice. Now if you look back in here, we have one of these. But we also have a whole lot of these. So we can continue placing these guys in just everywhere where they weren't already. So now all of these modules are at least, what is that, rare? All these modules are at least rare, which should increase my odds. And, okay, this is actually good. We have excess, so we can actually scale production up. Alright, so we need to get more of these guys in. And we need that requester chest to go back there. And then we need this to just bulldoze through all of that. Wait, did I set the settings? No, I didn't set the settings. Oh, well, it's fine. I don't think that requester chest did all that much anyways. So then this just goes across. They all get inserters. And they all get power. And that should help. Oh, we also need to give them the quality modules. So wait, stop. You guys need to actually get deactivated temporarily. So we need quality modules for all of these. And we're going to start with uncommons, because I think that's the most we can afford consistently. So then let's upgrade to rares to the extent that we can. Okay, now that the quality modules are in, we're going to get you set up and running so that we can get even more of this stuff going through. And at this point, it's just kind of a numbers game. Like, we just need a whole giant load of it. And this is not what we want to see. We need to do something about that. Alright, so yeah, this first row might also be a limiting factor. In fact, it definitely is. We have some stuff going through up here, but not much. Alright, we need to rethink this. So really what we need is for these to actually have individual rows for everything so that we can guarantee it all gets used. Or alternatively, we just... yeah, we do need individual rows for everything, I think. A bit annoying, but fine. So this is still doing its thing. We actually have a lot of tier 3 parts, which we need to loop back in because they didn't get run through the one tier 3 EM plant. Okay. So this needs to be set up. I really am kicking myself for accidentally deleting that. So you get to be tier 2 and tier 3 and tier 4 of all of those, and tier 2, tier 3, and tier 4 of the red circuits, and the same thing with the conductors. We just got to get all of these in. And finally, the tier 2 modules. So we get uncommon, rare, and epic of those. And that is now set back up. And that immediately has done something. So now we just need you to just function as normal. And so we get those guys looped back in. And there we go. So this should get us pretty solid running again. Although it's obviously we actually need more of these if we want to do that, but it's going to be a bit of an issue in terms of just physically having the high enough rarity modules for it. So, you know, it's doing its thing. It'll give us some rare modules, which then we will be able to get over to here. And the same way we've done it for this one, which has kept this mostly under control. Let's see, power... Yeah, power production is now more than sufficient. So that power production is no longer the issue. So you are now doing your thing. And you're just working around the clock. So that's pretty good. It's caused slight issues elsewhere, but we are at least getting this guy to provide a stable supply of quality modules. Rare. So there goes another one. Oh, that actually managed to be an epic one. That's awesome. Love that for me. So that is... Why did that just get picked up? Oh, that was the wrong type. You need to be tier 2 modules, not the highest tier ones. So that rare module is just going to wind up in there somewhere, which I guess is fine. I mean, that is a passive provider chest at the end of the day. We wound up with a couple of them like that. Okay, so let's get those to upgrade you as much as possible. We're only going to be able to fit in a couple of them right now, but there you go. Okay, so as far as tier 3 modules are concerned, I feel like we should have more of them, unless this just goes insanely slowly, which I guess it does. So I guess that's what's happening. These machines are just so slow that it's going to cause problems. Okay, so this... We're just like entirely consumed by this process at this point. And we have 14 of the tier 2 modules, which isn't really enough. We have burned through all of those, so that's good at least. So this is doing its thing, making higher tier modules slowly but surely. And how many of these do we need? We need like one more until that is done, and then we can start stockpiling the rare modules, which is pretty cool. Now as far as the ultra modules, still doing pretty bad on those. So this is looping. Okay, let's just get this second one set up. It's not going to be quite as good, but that's fine, I guess. So, I mean, the difference isn't that huge, right? It's like 21% versus 16%. That could be a lot worse. Alright, so then you get connected in there, and then that gets brought down to there. And then you get connected up to there as well. And we're going to need another power pole up there for that. Okay, so once that power pole gets placed in, then we will be all good on that front. And we need to make that a bulk inserter, I think. And then, okay, at this point, you can go back to doing that. So now we have 2 of these running, which basically just means that not much is going to change. Alright, so this is going. We have got 4 of the higher tier modules now. Let's get those in there ASAP. So there we go. Alright, now we are once again just waiting on our supply of these guys. So how is this going? Green circuits are doing fine. Red circuits are doing fine. Although actually we just need to set these requests up. Because we have insane quantities of them. We just aren't bringing them in fast enough. So let's set that up. And that should hopefully let us scale this whole thing. So that is going. And now it's all getting delivered. 800 at a time. The top ones still aren't doing anything. And I guess we could quality module these guys just to like try to get freebies, but that would require building way more of them to make up for the absent speed modules, which does not seem fun to me. Okay, I think this just needs to be set up like absolutely as high as it can go. So let's try doubling it again up to 1600. The green circuits look like they're fine at that rate, so theoretically the red circuits should be as well, although I don't know how... The red circuits have a slightly longer trip to make. I don't know how much of a difference that'll make. And also at some point the inserter might actually start becoming the problem. Like if we just can't physically get the red circuits out fast enough. But yeah, okay, there we go. So that is tier 1 modules in here going at full speed, which means we can just... Alright, if we just copy paste you and just add in a whole bunch more of you, then the output belt there needs to get drawn back. Like so. Because this is... We do need marginally more of these than we do machines for these. So now that that is in, this is probably going to be at a point where the actual throughput is the problem. These ones are also seemingly having issues, so let's set that up even faster. And the blue circuits, we can set you up to like 600 or something, I don't know. Because the faster we get fresh quality modules, the faster we can upcycle them. Because this is somewhat limited by the supply of fresh quality modules. It's not like a huge limitation, but it is definitely there. Alright, we're up to 9 spare quality modules in here. So that's definitely cool. which means that we are kind of getting there. Like, it is slowly but surely working its way up. Like, we have rare modules everywhere here, and that is going well. Now the main problem is... No, let's see. I think the main problem is still the fresh module input, potentially. And we are, once again, sort of running up against the limit of what our recyclers can handle, which is good, actually. So this, we are, again, we need like a couple more of these than we do of these. So let's copy-paste from here out to here. And just paste you up sort of intermediate steps. So we have like 2 more of those. So that goes in. And there we go. Once that gets built up, it should be marginally quicker. Okay, so this is now doing its thing. And okay, at this point we are just like the inserters need to be faster, so let's make these guys stack inserters. And I guess we can make you guys all stack inserters, although for most of these it doesn't really make much of a difference. So those are all in. And where was that attack? I thought it was in this area. No, it's all the way down here by the other nuclear stuff. Okay, that's fine. Speaking of by this stuff, we just have plenty of everything. Alright, so yeah, that's all looking good. Now back up here. This is going, and it is backlogging, so that's cool. Although, gosh, we might need to set these down. We might need to set these higher values again, although it's probably just because it's backlogging that it's working faster than normal. Hopefully that's the case. So these should now all be working pretty much continually. And, oh right, they do have inherent production modifiers, which is very helpful for this. Alright, so then, this one here, why are you item ingredient short? Okay, you theoretically shouldn't be, but you're just like the last to get dibs on it. Oh, this one here is a problem. You need an output up there. And that should get you running again. Should be nice. Okay, no, the red circuits supply is actually just needs to be set even higher. So you get set up to 2K. How many red circuits are we burning through here? So that's like 5 per batch of 2. So that's like 10, 15, 20. It's like 25 red circuits there. How many are we producing? Probably not like 25. So we're going to need to expand that up. And of course, I've put my power production in this exact area. So that's going to be inconvenient. So yeah, I think our supply of red circuits is potentially going to slowly fall. Fortunately, we have an insanely massive backlog of it. Unfortunately, the amount that we're burning through here is utterly obscene. But we are producing a whole lot of quality modules. So up to 15 spares there. So up to 15 up to 15 spare of those ones. We have a lot of spare components as well, although not so much on the tier 3 side. So yeah, we just need... If we just get another one of you in, and move that just like to there, so that it still hits everything that it needs to hit. Then we can get you into there, get the quality modules in, and then, wait, actually, no, this, wait, we need to get all of these running at a time, so I don't know how that's actually going to work. I don't know how that's actually going to work because of the way that we've done this. Okay, let's just see if doing it this way works. It's always frustrating when you spend so much time designing something and you realize you are bad at designing it and you made mistakes and you're going to have to tear it all down and rebuild it again. Like, these need to have separate rows for the different inputs. Alright, so then you need to be a box as well. And you go in like that. Alright, so this is doing its thing. We're getting quality modules in a couple at a time. And we are successfully eating them up and turning them into pieces. So there we go. Let's see, the difference between these are 23.5%, that's 20.5%. The odds are just so bad. Like, okay, I should check. I'm pretty sure I read that you can't do this, but if you can, I'm gonna feel real dumb. Okay, yeah, quality modules can't be used in beacons, good. Okay, so that's fine. That's fine. And then we just need this to work better. So you currently have enough components to work around the clock, but I don't know if you will forever. You need an output so that we can run all 3 of these EM plants simultaneously. And actually, the fact that this first one is continually running does make me think that this last one hopefully will as well. Oh, and you need to be, I don't know, I can't remember how you were set up, but you need to be disabled by control behavior for most of the time. Just so that we don't have that constant looping thing going on. You just get everything in like this, and then it should all work out. Alright, so that is going. We have actually a backlog now of these guys, which is a little bit concerning. But the more concerning thing is how insanely slow this is. Like, we're still only up to 17 of those. We're nowhere near getting these ones in. And we just need more fresh inputs and more processing speed. So hopefully once this fills up, then we'll get there. So this is still running solidly. And yeah, we're at the point where we are actually backlogging on the tier 2 modules, which means we might be able to add in 1 or 2 more of these guys. Although, I don't know, that seems rough. So this, over here, it's just taken forever, and it's hard to tell what's happening. Like, you are short of some of the ingredients, but not others. And hopefully we get those new ingredients through. I will say, like, once you get some of it started, it's a bit faster. Like, we are producing quality module rares a lot quicker than we were. And there's even... We are starting to loop quality module rares, so we're almost at the point. So once these go in, then we'll be at the point where we can start hoping to get lucky and get quality module ultras. And it looks like the rows of these that we have are actually pretty long. Alright, so yeah, we're gonna need even more recyclers, which means, guess what? Even more rare modules used. So this whole area is internal now, right? Yes, it is. So we can just take this wall out without breaking anything. Although, if we go too much further, we're going to run into train tracks, which aren't so easy to fix. So let's add another 5 of these. And they need to get quality module rares, which we should currently have in the box. So then we get the power lines across, we connect up the output, and once that is all in, just waiting on that one power line, and then we're going to run the belts across. We don't want to waste these things that are sitting on the belts. Alright, that one power line is taking a long time to show up. That's for sure. Alright, that power line is in, and those belts go across. And we've gone from having enough of a backlog to start producing the next tier, to now we have no backlog at all again. Although we will be building them back up shortly. There we are. So now the recycling is no longer the limiting factor. So we don't have enough extra resources for that. We don't have enough extra resources for this. So it is just slowly but surely, we're getting there. And there's not much to do but wait at this point, I would say. Although we have 200 spare superconductors here, actually, which is a lot. But that is what it is. And yeah, if we were to like spam quality modules on these, we might get a little bit better, but it would also be way slower, so I don't really want to do that. Alright, so at this point, several of these guys are output full, which means the red circuit demand isn't going to be quite as insane for now, but it's still a lot. Slowly falling behind on the red circuit production. But we have enough of all the inputs, so we can change that. We just need to copy this entire row, preferably down to a nice even point like that. And if we just rotate you back like this, then hopefully we have enough space. We might have to like chop the top beacon off or something, but we hopefully we'll have enough space that we can get all of this stuff in. And so this is the one pointing the other way, so this is the red circuit. So you go around like that. and you go around like that. Okay, now we have to get clever. So the copper wire goes underground there, and then in that way. The plastic goes up, goes underground there, and then in that way. Alright, so that should be a significant increase in the amount of red circuit production. I think we have enough copper wire and all the other stuff to keep up with this. Not sure though, we'll have to figure out. So that is all going. And the drones are getting stuff placed in. And it's going to take quite a while for all the modules and everything. But in the meantime, it is starting to get there. So hopefully that will keep the red circuit supply happy. And the blue circuit supply... The blue circuit supply is also just falling behind. And the red circuit demands are so insane that we can't do that much about it until this gets fixed up. Alright, so the plastic is now going in. And with that, we have extra red circuit production going. It's just going to take a little bit. Also, the modules aren't all in. So that will take a little while. But we now have even more red circuits than ever. So hopefully that is keeping up. And hopefully it's also gonna get the blue circuits going better now. Okay, the plastic is currently output full. That might change as we've just recently increased the demand by a lot. So back over here, we actually have 3 spares of those. Only 6 spare of these, though. That's interesting. Alright, well, let's give those epic qualities something to do. Where would they be best served? Probably just in any machine which is running constantly, which would be that one. And I guess we might as well queue up the next couple to go into there. So yeah, obviously the downside of doing this all in one giant collective row like this is that you can't necessarily control like prioritizing the epic modules into like the higher tier things yet, but it should be fine. Eventually we'll have plenty of epic modules and then it'll be great. Now, though, we're sort of just stuck in this nightmare realm. And also, that is a lot of quality module tier 2s. Okay. Jesus. Okay. Yeah, we need to get those over to here, I guess. So, we get... Where does it go? It needs to go into this row here. So, we get... that, and you are going to request quality module tier 2s. Not in logistics network. Well, boy, do I have a surprise for you. Where is that set up? That's up here. That's this guy, and you need to just be active. So we can drain you of your quality modules. And so that should help a lot, just getting those looped back into here. Alright, so that is going. And that should mitigate the need for these guys to run at all for quite a while. So that's cool. So, like, all of these guys are going to be hitting output full pretty soon. We don't have blue circuits. We do not have blue circuits, which is a problem. at least we've got plenty of quality module 2s. And so this should be like our first priority for using them, because it's on the end of the belt. So those should just be recycled, and it should work out fine. Then back over here, this is all just running as much as it can. And as is this one. Okay, yeah, everything looks fine. Now over on this side, we have apparently somewhat recovered our blue circuit production. So that is going. And we can copy paste it up a bit. So let's just get you up like that. That should be solid. Okay, and then you need to just go in. Right, so now we've just hit this drone port. I guess that's fine. We've like added a couple more of these guys on. Blue circuit demands still insane, but we're helping out a little bit more. How's this guy doing, by the way? You have a couple hundred, but nothing crazy. And yeah, you could definitely stand to have your modules upgraded. So let's just get those in. So we're going to just queue those up. And probably some of these ones up as well. And hopefully that will just make these a little bit quicker. And we'll even put in an extra one there. And so that should give us a bit more. Power is doing fine. Steam turbines are great. They're able to keep us completely solid around the clock if solar panels were to all magically die. And blue circuits are doing their thing. Back over to this side. Yeah, we just always need like an infinite amount of blue circuits. That's basically the moral of the story here. But at least this demand is going to be calming down for a while with this because of how many extras of those we had because I wasn't recycling them properly. So that's something. That'll help the blue circuits recover a little bit, although really it'll just focus them into this line where they're already the main shortage. Alright, back over here. We did get some of those guys through. Still only at 15 of the rares, so I don't know how we're getting ultras when not. I guess it's just from recycling. Who knows? Not gonna complain. Alright, so this is still just doing its thing, and eventually it'll give us enough ultra quality modules that we can do something. Okay. I've just noticed science is dead. Why is science dead? What is wrong with plastic bar productivity? We don't have any agricultural science. Okay. Over to Gleba. What is your problem? We're definitely outputting agricultural science. You can see it going along this way. And it is just filling up a box. Gleba support. Okay, well, Gleba support is heading back to Gleba. Hasn't got any science on it right now. So I don't know if... This is at 0%, so it hasn't been running at all. So what is your problem? What is your problem? Why are you not bringing science across? I don't know. Okay, so this has its new speed modules on the way. That's good. So Novice is still waiting on more quality modules to cycle up. It feels like there's got to be a better way of doing this. Like, speed modules make quality decrease, right? So we can't do that because the inputs are limited. Like, if we had a huge amount of quality modules, then we might just get speed modules to make the upcycling go faster. But we can't really do that. We can't really do that here. Productivity modules can't be applied to recyclers, and we can't get them in here because that would decrease the amount of quality modules. So we can't do that. Although maybe there's like... Because if we did have productivity modules, we would get more outputs, which would include more outputs of a higher quality, which I guess is something. There's probably like some ratio or something. I wish you could just put them in beacons and then you wouldn't have to worry about it. Alright, so this is doing its thing. We can actually set this up to higher so that we can get more blue circuit output through. Alright, so this is going. This is making blue circuits as much as it can. And our red circuit supply is basically capped out at this point. Okay, it looks like green circuits... Okay, it looks like they aren't quite a limiting factor, but it's kind of close. So green circuits, what is your problem? No, you're all just doing fine. Okay. So there's not really much to say about that. The copper wire is not getting through to the whole row of red circuits. Which means we need more copper wire. Okay, so how do we get you in? How do we get another one of these guys in? I guess we can... Okay, here's what we do. We put you around there. Tell you to cast copper cable. Give you your modules. Feed you from the liquids. And then, if you just go up that way, and output onto there, then this whole thing gets... I want this to be turbo transport belts here, so then that whole thing can turn down and go out. Alright, so that is that. Once this is going, hopefully that will have it handled. Come on, get that one belt in so that we can get this going. Alright, there we go. And significantly faster copper wires production is going. And a lot of it is being used in this first row here. So let's get those belts upgraded just in case it matters. I don't think it does, but it doesn't hurt. We've got plenty of belts. Alright, so yeah, now copper wire is fully backlogged and the whole thing is doing it. And actually now the red circuits are output full. So that's cool. Having red circuits be output full is definitely handy. And blue circuits... Yeah, blue circuits are still the limiting factor. And we need more green circuits to get more blue circuits. Which means expanding out this line a bit. But that's going to be a bit complicated because of the stupid train tracks that we have here, which I didn't want to have. Yeah, we might have to remove that train track, put it somewhere else. But yeah, I think that'll be a job for next time. So for now, we are still very, very slowly chipping away at getting our quality modules done. We've got some progress, but it's just taking a long time and a ton of resources. So I think for now we're going to call it a day. So thanks everyone for hanging out. I had a lot of fun. We will be doing Satisfactory tomorrow, where, let's see, did we just finish our Fixite ingots thing, and now we're working on, yeah, so I think in Satisfactory we were just starting to work on making supercomputers for our neuroquantum processors. And then we will be back here in Factorio on Wednesday and doing more stuff, trying to get this quality setup working better. So if you're interested in any of that, make sure to stop by then. I stream every weekday from 2 to 5 Eastern Time, so make sure to follow if you haven't already so that you know when I'm live. So that's about it. Thanks everyone for hanging out, and I will see you